Today, we're going to talk about something kind of strange. We're looking at how fantastic businesses, the ones that are the cornerstones of their communities, are slowly but surely becoming invisible. And it's not because they're doing anything wrong. It's because the map customers are using to find them has been completely, and I mean completely, redrawn. Let's dive in. So this is the big mystery we're tackling. Just picture it, a business that's been serving a community for, say, 50 years. Everybody knows them, everybody respects them. But day by day, fewer people are coming through the door. The phone isn't ringing quite as much. What's going on? It's this quiet crisis that a lot of business owners just don't see coming until it's way too late.
All right, so the first thing we have to get our heads around is that the old rulebook, it's been tossed right out the window. That solid foundation that businesses were built on for generations, a great local reputation, well, it's just not the guarantee it used to be.
For forever, really, this was the whole ecosystem. A funeral home is a perfect example, right? Families knew exactly who to call because their parents used them, or their next-door neighbor recommended them, or maybe their pastor had a personal connection with them. Trust was built over decades, face-to-face, in these really tight-knit communities. That was the gold standard. That was everything. But that entire ecosystem, that whole world of relationships, it's been replaced by this, a search bar. That slow, careful, trust-building process has been squished down into just a few seconds on a tiny screen. All those years of building a stellar reputation can just vanish in the face of a single Google search. And this leads us to this brand new thing, what we're calling the 10-second decision. Because in those moments, when a customer has an urgent need, the whole decision-making process has shrunk down to almost nothing, and it all happens right in the palm of their hand. I mean, really think about it. When a family experiences a loss, it's an incredibly emotional, stressful time. Their first instinct isn't to call a friend for a recommendation anymore. It's to get an immediate answer. So they pull out the phone, they type in a search, and they make a choice from the first few names that pop up. It's a decision made under immense pressure based on totally digital information.
So here's the crucial point, the one that's really hard to swallow. In that 10-second window, your real-world reputation means almost nothing. Google has become the ultimate gatekeeper. If you don't show up on that first screen for that specific customer in that critical moment, your business, for all intents and purposes, doesn't even exist.
And this is exactly how a business becomes invisible. It's not some big, sudden collapse. It's more like a gradual fading away from where people are actually looking now. So let's break down what this actually looks and feels like from a customer's perspective.
This right here is the big disconnect. A customer searching online, they can't see the compassionate owner who's helped hundreds of families. They don't see your beautiful facility or the decades of trust you've worked so hard to build. What they do see is your digital storefront, your Google reviews, the pictures you have online, and how your website makes them feel in that instant. So this is what we're talking about with online invisibility. It's this strange paradox of being absolutely amazing in the real world, but coming across as small or old-fashioned or maybe even untrustworthy online. And for a brand new customer who's never met you, that digital impression, well, that is your reality. And the warning signs are usually pretty obvious. If you're not showing up in the top few search results, you're probably invisible. If you've only got a couple of reviews, or worse, none, or if your website looks like it was designed 10 years ago, you're basically sending signals to customers that you might be out of touch or hard to deal with, even when that's not true at all. Okay, so that's the problem. And I know, it sounds a little daunting, but the solution is actually way simpler than you might think. This isn't about becoming some kind of marketing genius. It's about a simple but fundamental shift in how you think about things. A lot of traditional business owners, they hear this stuff and they immediately think of annoying sales tactics or spending a ton of money on ads. We need to completely reframe that. This is not about marketing in that old school sense of the word. Instead, let's just call it visibility. It's not an act of selling. It's really an act of service. It's just about making sure that when people are in a real moment of need, you are incredibly easy to find, super easy to trust, and simple to contact. All you're doing is removing the friction between their problem and your solution. So how do you actually get visible? Well, there are a few key pieces. It all starts with your Google profile. That's your new digital welcome mat. Then it moves to having a modern website that doesn't just look pretty, but is genuinely helpful to someone who's stressed out. And maybe most important of all, it means you have to actively build digital trust through online reviews. That's the new word of mouth. And all of this, it all boils down to one critical idea for any business today, and that's your digital first impression. Because like it or not, this is your new front door.
Way before someone ever picks up the phone to call you or decides to walk into your building, they've already made a judgment. They've visited you online and they've asked themselves, do these people look professional? Do they seem like someone I can trust? Do they look like they can actually help me?
And in that split-second decision, there is nothing more powerful than seeing what other people have said. Google reviews are the new word of mouth. They're a shortcut to trust, a quick, crowdsourced verdict that tells the potential customer if you're the real deal.
Just look at the difference this makes. Home A has over 80 reviews. Immediately, it feels established, safe, a trusted choice. Home B only has 3. It feels like an unknown, a gamble, a risk. Now, if you're a family in a moment of crisis, which one are you going to call? It's not even a question. The real-world quality of Home B doesn't matter, next to the digital certainty that Home A provides.
But here's the crucial takeaway, and honestly, this is the real opportunity in all of this. Most traditional businesses are still playing by the old rules. They haven't made this shift. And what that means is, with just a few focused changes to how you show up online, you can stand out in a massive way. You don't even have to be perfect at it. You just have to be better than the competition, and right now that bar is surprisingly low.
This really says it all, doesn't it? You can be the absolute best at what you do, but if families can't see you online in the exact moment they need you the most, you are, for all practical purposes, invisible. So the question I'll leave you with is this. In a world that now looks through a digital window first, are you visible?